What's up, everybody? Welcome to Mr. Straight Facts Show. I am Mr. Straight Facts. What's going on? I see you walk, Mike. Uh, Today I live in California, and I'm excited about a young man by the name of Robert Garcia because he's out there doing shit still at this moment for the Epstein files. Now I mentioned yesterday because it was in the news, and uh, I saw Howard Lutnick, the Commerce Secretary, speaking about the Epstein files, but he was speaking about not the files itself, but his personal. See, I thought he was talking about information that he had obtained being in the government, but no, I got it wrong. I dug a little deeper and found out that what he was speaking from was from firsthand fucking knowledge. Did you know Howard Lutnick was Jeffrey Epstein's neighbor? Come on now. He done seen some shit. Everybody know. I'm gonna put it like this. I used to be married and lived with my ex-wife, of course, two kids and all that. My next door neighbor was this scruffy little white dude. When I say little, he was like 6 foot tall, but he was really skinny. He was like paper thin, or whatever the hell it is. This fool never went to work. I was like, oh, he must have a job at home. Then I would smell substances coming out of his house. Then I would see them staying up late and late and late. And it wasn't like I was watching them. I was coming home from work or coming home from, some event, or the kids and we went to Disneyland, come back. We'd always see him out there giving something to somebody in a car, them driving off. So 1+1 equal drug dealer. Okay? So we knew this white dude was selling all kinds of crap and having parties, and the least we knew he was selling marijuana. The extent of it, that it was worse than that. It was way worse than that. He was cooking up things. And how did I find out he was cooking up things? I was in my office, which I had like this one little tough shed at the side of my house, away from the family, so I can get some work done. I built it. It was just nice. It was my little home away from home, right? And the air conditioning, and I had a window. Everything was fine. The fumes coming from whatever the fuck he was cooking, I didn't pay attention to it because it didn't have a smell at all. I just started feeling woozy and dizzy. And I was like, close the window or something. I don't know what's going on. Just taking in the air conditioning. Well, it was coming through the air conditioning too. I lost my equilibrium for 2 days. I couldn't walk straight. I'm at the doctor. I'm tripping. I'm like, what's going on? And he's thinking, you know how doctors are. They go through everything. Maybe you got, what's it called? A vertigo or something like that. Lay your head back and all this other stuff like that. Then I remembered, it was this weird smell, but it was a smell like it was something burning. That's all. It didn't, the drug itself, I didn't smell. I was smelling the burning of something. And then I hear one day that I'm in my little shed office, and I hear him talking to the guy in the backyard about something that he did last week didn't work, and that he himself got dizzy. And I was like, what? I'm telling you, I walked over to this dude's house, knocked on the door, and we were about to fight. I don't care what happened. We was about to fight. I'm like, my kids could have smelled that. You could have killed my kid. What the fuck are you doing over here? Right? I say all this because we've all had neighbors that we know have been doing something they shouldn't be doing, that didn't have a job because somehow they're paying the rent, and you got a job and a half paying a mortgage, and they got a house not necessarily as big as yours, but right next to yours. And somehow they got it and don't have no job. Now they could have got family and rich money and all that. He was a drug dealer. All the other shit added up. Now, Howard Lutnick, you're going to tell me You live next to a pedophile and you never saw little kids going in? You never saw it. You never came home from a late event. You're a Wall Street guy. You never came home from your Wall Street shit late at night, going to another party or something like that and creeped up like, why the little children coming over? Maybe they're somebody's kids. Maybe they're having a pool party for his kid or something, but they don't have any children. That's weird. You never had that. I call bullshit. There's no way in the hell this man says, and this is what Howard Lutnick said in his statement, because I didn't hear all of it. I just heard clips of it. I don't have the actual full interview that he had on the podcast. More came out for me to see today. That's why I know it was his personal experience. See, he walked into the home invited to Jeffrey Epstein, billionaire, next door to him. The way these vultures are, anybody with a bigger home or just as big or got money, you are trying to fucking know who he is. So you knew who he was. Howard Lutnick had been invited into his home. So he described on this podcast that Jeffrey Epstein had a massage table in the middle of his living room. And he said, Howard Lutnick, to Jeffrey Epstein, you got a massage table in your living room? I mean, do you get massages like that, like all the time or something? That really didn't make any sense. Like couch, massage table. And then he said he leaned into him, kind of, I guess, weird or kind of creepy, I guess, in the way he was acting, and said to him, the right kind of massages too. You knew he meant happy endings. And judging by what you have seen go into his house, you had to have known those happy endings were young. Because Donald Trump knew. He's the one that said that they were young. He likes them a little younger than me. Little? Like Donald liked them young and illegal. He liked them as fucking babies, I guess. Because remember, Donald Trump was saying he got pageants, and he would go back in the back and look at 13, 14, 15, 16-year-old girls naked because he owned it and nobody else could do it. He only had the privilege to go back and look at children naked. That's what he said on Howard Stern. That's his words. And Jeffrey Epstein liked them younger than him. Younger than 13, 14, 15, 16. I mean, I don't know what we're doing here. How are we adding up or trying our damnedest to kind of like figure out like, maybe he wasn't, maybe he was, it could be, maybe not. How many fucking signs do you have to have for the alarm bells to go off? You're best friends with a pedophile who's been charged once before, and people always thought he was kind of creepy. Even you thought it was supposedly, not nothing wrong with it. He just liked them younger than you, and you were still hanging with him because you knew what type of girl he liked. That's your homie. I don't know how much a person likes if I'm not hanging with them. I don't know what type of girl they like. Like me and my homies, I know that one of my homies likes women that look like Shaka Khan. I know that because we talked about it. So you know that your homie likes little girls, and you're going to sit here and say, well, he just likes them a little younger than I like them. Never telling people he likes children because you had to have known. What's younger than what you have? You just said yourself, not just now, but he said it a while back ago. It was supposed to be like some kind of 8-year-old girl, whatever she was. I didn't know how old she was. Somebody else said it was 8. I take your word for it. Then he said, in 10 years, I'll be dating you. So he liked him at 18. You know Jeffrey Epstein liked him younger than you liked him. So you know his was underage, just by that alone. Do I need to be Inspector Gadget to figure this shit out? No, you don't. Inspector Caruso? No. Sherlock Holmes? Hell no. It's very simple. This is the same man said he would be dating his daughter if she wasn't his daughter. She's his type. Creepy. Very creepy. How many times you got to hear a creep say, I'm basically a pedophile, for you to sit there and say, I think he's a pedophile? How many times you got to hear it? I mean, Howard Lutnick literally said that this man was creepy and he made his money by bribing people. And when he said that, oh man, y'all gotta go watch that video. When he said that, he know he overstepped. He said it and he kind of tried to take it back, and he couldn't because he already said it. He continued on. That's how he made his money. Being a blackmailer. So you don't know he's a pedophile because he has that in his room, but you know enough about the man that based on what you know about him personally, Howard Lutnick, you believed he made his money through blackmail. Now, that's news to everybody. Why do I say that? Because Donald Trump and his minions in the government, DOJ, FBI, literally said they have no evidence that he ever blackmailed. And now we got Howard Lutnick saying that's the way he made his money. He didn't have no other job. What did I tell y'all? He didn't have a license to do shit. Didn't have a degree. This man never graduated from college. He never went. Remember I told you, the job he got teaching at the Dalton School, which is all millionaire parents and kids. He was teaching elite children with no degree, no teacher's license, no college, no nothing, teaching it. And whose daddy was hiring him? Bill Barr. When he died, who was the head of the DOJ? Bill Barr. Shit's kind of creepy when shit adds up. It's crazy. Bill Barr was the head of the DOJ when he was unalived in the jail, and he bribed his daddy to get his job. So Bill Barr's daddy must have been doing something he shouldn't have been doing. Because why would he hire a kid without a college education to teach elite children? And the reason he got kicked out of that school because he was doing something kind of creepy with one of the kids there at the school. How are you allowed to do anything like that? Bill Barr's dad had to be dirty in order to hire somebody who was unqualified. This is what they mean by merit. Just white and privileged. And he didn't come from a rich family. He was just like Howard Lutnick said, he bribed people. So I'm sure he got his job by bribing his father. Bill, I remember his father's first name. Bill Barr's father. He had to have bribed him to get that job. What did Bill Barr's father do to be bribed to bring in a person with no education, no college degree, no teacher's license to be teaching elite students? I don't know, but we need to know, because all this is what created Jeffrey Epstein, which allowed him to be who he is. From Bill Barr's father, giving him opportunities, to Bear Stearns, giving this man opportunities he did not deserve. He never invested for anybody. He didn't have an investment license, but yet he worked for Bears and Stearns. And then when he left, he said, I don't want anybody else but billionaires. And then all of a sudden, Wexler gives him power of attorney over his property, the $70-something million mansion. He gave him rights to that, where she put cameras all over the place. Howard Lutnick opened up a can of worms he can't close. He let everybody know exactly what we were saying. He was bribing people. See, Donald Trump and his minions were trying their damnedest. There's nothing really nobody to go at. We can't do anything. I thought you guys wanted to solve this. Howard Lutnick opened it wide open. So much so that Richard Robert Garcia of California. He's a ranking member in the House, I believe. Let me bring up that real quick. He wrote a letter. Now this is a what did he say? Strongly worded letter, but I like this one though. That's funny. Strongly worded letter he wrote him, and let's see where it's at. There you go. And this is what he wrote. I'm not gonna read the whole thing, but we're gonna go through it a little bit. What's up, everybody? All right. Here is the letter that he wrote him. Dear Secretary Lutnick, I write regarding your recent comments concerning Jeffrey Epstein and your assertion that he was the, quote, greatest blackmailer ever, unquote. Your statement based on your personal knowledge. Remember, I thought this man was just saying this because he got some information on the inside. No, this is his personal knowledge of Jeffrey Epstein, contradicted statements from other senior administration officials, including sworn testimony by FBI Director Kash Patel. Wait a minute. If Director Kash Patel lied, shouldn't he be in the same situation as James Comey? I'm just saying. But this one actually has him lying about something. Now they got to get him, Howard Lutnick, under oath to say what he said once again. And then one of them is lying. Same situation as James Comey. But in this situation, it's more valid because it's specific as to the lie. They went off of something later to say somebody else said something and a different person said something, but that different person, it went through an investigation. James Comey never said, according to that first investigation, never said it. But we'll see what that plays through in a while. But the committee is currently investigating the late Jeffrey Epstein's co-conspirators. And keep that in mind, co-conspirators. The horrific crimes they committed with Jeffrey Epstein and the mishandling of the matter by government entities that continues to this very day. In the interest of justice for the victims of Jeffrey Epstein, thank you, Robert Garcia, and his enablers, and given your firsthand interactions with and knowledge of Mr. Epstein, we demand that you cooperate with the committee's investigation by sitting for a transcribed interview with committee staff. Hope is recorded, but I don't know what that is. It says transcribed, so we may only get the transcriptions and not the actual live video. But either way, it should be under oath. On Tuesday, a video of your interview on the Podforce One podcast, now you know what podcast it is. You can go watch the full thing if you want, was posted on YouTube and other, if they haven't taken it down, social media platforms. During the interview, you recounted an interaction with Jeffrey Epstein, who was your next door neighbor, where you and your wife and his wife, I didn't know his family affair went there. I didn't know that. Your wife visited his New York home, witnessed a massage table surrounded with candles, and were told by Mr. Epstein that he received the right kind of massage. And that's where he said he kind of creeped up on him a little bit and said that daily. He had him daily. Remember, the other person said that what was Jeffrey Epstein's appetite for these little girls? They in the first, or was it the second? No, I think it was the one of the trials he had. The second one didn't go to trial yet, I don't think. But in the first one, they mentioned that one of the witnesses or one of the survivors said that he had an appetite of 3 per day. So I'm guessing they were going to get and help him schedule 3 girls a day. 3 a day. 3 massages, which means 3 young girls a day. He told him massages daily. This is substantial evidence that Epstein's abuse of young girls occurred at that residence. Or there is, rather, strong evidence, substantial evidence. Following the encounter, see what it says. We go further down. You described your decision to never be in the room with that disgusting person ever again. He thought he was disgusting at that time. Doesn't tell us what time he was in there, what day, what year, whatever. I think he said 2018, though. I think it was 2018. During the interview, you described Epstein as the greatest blackmailer ever, and stated that that's how he made his money. In direct contrast to this statement, President Trump's Justice Department and FBI published a joint memorandum earlier this year in which they claimed they found no credible evidence that Epstein blackmailed prominent individuals. Cover up. Because we know he had no other job. Like I said from Martin, he was like, Tommy, you ain't got no job, fool. In an interview, you also asserted that prominent figures frequently received massages at Epstein's residence, and what happened in that massage room, I assume, was on video. You continued, he's a serial sex offender. How could he get 18 months and be able to go to his office during the day and have visitors and stuff? There must have been a trade. So my assumption, I have no knowledge, but my assumption is there was a trade for the videos because there were people on those videos. The committee appreciates your interest in sharing your personal knowledge of Jeffrey Epstein with the American public. Your immediate determination that Epstein was a disgusting person based on a single interaction is important. This raises questions whether others in Epstein's long-time orbit, particularly those with ongoing social or professional ties, may have been aware excuse me, of his abusive behavior. We appreciate that you, like us, are appalled by Epstein's conduct and the lenient treatment he received from U.S. Attorney Alex Acosta, President Trump's labor secretary in his first term prior to Epstein's death. The committee is working to trace the sources of Epstein's wealth and hold accountable those complicit with his crimes, no matter how powerful, wealthy, or well-connected they may be. We urge you to cooperate with the committee's investigation and provide your knowledge of Jeffrey Epstein and his crimes in a transcribed interview with the committee staff. The first-hand information you possess about Epstein will assist the committee in our investigation. Thank you for your prompt attention to this request. Robert Garcia, ranking member. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Robert Garcia, thank you. Out there, and he CC'd the Honorable James Comer. I don't know about all that, but you have to do it. The Honorable James Comer, Blockhead Comer. So yes, thank you, Robert Garcia. We much respect the fact that you are out there doing your job, and that is to make sure that these people come to justice, and hopefully that will happen. Now there's Mike Johnson. Mike Johnson is holding off on bringing another a House member into to play here, because she'll be 218, which that's all they need to be able to go forward with getting these Epstein files, or at least go through this whole process. While they're doing that, they're trying their best to tear off one of the Republicans on there that have signed on, to tear them off of it. They're trying to offer them all kinds of shit on the side, so that even if that person does come in, we got to get one of these Republicans to renege on what they said they're going to do. So look out for that to see if, when they say, oh yeah, we want to bring her on, they do, more than likely they knocked off one of the Republicans too that's going to fall off as soon as she comes on. We'll see. Let's hope they don't do it, but I don't put anything past them. So that is the way things have been going down as we know it with the Jeffrey Epstein information. Now there is, let's see if I have anything else. Oh yeah, there's another situation here. I told you earlier in that letter, he mentioned co-conspirators. Today, NBC is reporting that when he got arrested the second time this being Jeffrey Epstein, there were two conspirators, they believe, that are conspirators. Two that were a part, they believe were a part of it. Right before he went in, uh, he had got, there was some kind of, the media mentioned some kind of investigation on him or something like that. And around that time, he sent $100,000 check to one person and then 250,000 check to somebody else. They believe these two people to be co-conspirators. They weren't charged. Donald Trump them did not charge them in this process. I don't know when they found out about them per se. So if they found out about them earlier before Donald Trump this year, also Merrick Garland along with Biden, if he knew, because again, that's not how this system is supposed to work. It only works this way with Donald Trump, that Trump is in on the DOJ shit. The way it's supposed to be, the DOJ is not supposed to be coordinating with the president on what they're doing unless they're going to tell you, like, this is how we're going about something at the end. They're supposed to be independent. The president shouldn't have anything at all to say about which case should go, which one shouldn't. That's their independent job, independent from the president. The president doesn't bark out orders and the DOJ, FBI, and CIA just jump. That's not how it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be nonpartisan and deal with the people's work. And their connection would be to the Constitution and to the law, not to the president. But we're in different days now, right? The country runs a little bit different, right? We're running on dipshit energy. And so all these people are following Donald Trump and doing what he's asking to do, not doing the people's work, doing Donald Trump's work. We're paying our hard-earned money for them to be attacking us, American people, instead of getting him out of office because they know he's a pedophile and that he's broken laws and that they're supposed to believe in a law and order, but instead they're protecting him and they're lying about everything. Howard Lutnick says this man was a blackmailer. How do you think he made his money? We have done the research and found that this man didn't have a license to invest. So the only thing he could do, just like Donald Trump said in his little, female body, possibly underage female body with his name signed in the pubic hairs, he said that they were an enigma, meaning you don't know what they particularly do. We're something that nobody can understand, which means in this particular situation, the thing we couldn't understand with him is how he got away with, and that means Epstein, with being a pedophile with multiple kids, and then to be charged with prostitution of a child. What the hell is that? Right? So these two co-conspirators, NBC has said that they have decided not to charge these possible co-conspirators, which they were going to treat like co-conspirators. And seeing as how they're not charging them supposedly, which they got 5 years from when they found this case out to be able to still charge them. And it was 2018, 19. You know what I mean? It's already over, I guess, since 2025. But I'm guessing, I don't know exactly how that particularly works, though, to tell the truth. I don't know what the extension is. I know with like, I believe, like, rape, it's like 5 years, but I don't know what doing like pedophilia and all stuff like that. I don't know how many years that is. I never studied it, but the extension, hopefully there's an extension for this. They have to know these people's names. So NBC filed this, I'm guessing it's a FOIA with the courts in saying that you need to expose these people, seeing as how they're not going to be charged. They really don't have a right to privacy for being in this list. So they want them released. Well, guess what? The DOJ reached out to the judge and tried to put the kibosh on this Freedom of Information Act that NBC was looking for and said, no, don't give it to them. It's prejudicial for the people. I mean, it's prejudicial for the people that a pedophile was paying off right when he was about to get arrested. He was paying them off. They believed at one point in time that these two were co-conspirators. He was paying them off for the stuff they was doing. I mean, again, he's the blackmailer. The blackmailer doesn't have to pay anybody off. They pay him off. The blackmailer pays his partners, co-conspirators, follow the money. We'll find out. But good job, Robert Garcia. Keep it up. I know you are. You're dogged like a dog that's starving. You just throw him a bone. He's still going at it. I wish there was more people other than him fighting this hard, but I see his name, and maybe they just put him ahead of this. And great job, great job. But this 250,000, this 100,000, I want you. And I'm not your boss, of course, but Robert Garcia, you see this? Somebody receives a letter with this shit somehow, or you could put your foot on the scale or some way if you can. I don't know if you can because I don't know what your powers are, but at least bring it up. Put it on Front Street. Don't let it just be solved in the courts. You need to be talking about this just as well as anything else that's going on in the news. You Democrats and even Republicans, MTG, Nancy Grace, you guys said you want to know about this shit, so put whomever that is on Front Street. Let them know. We on their ass. I want to thank a little bit earlier. I didn't do it. 5 on Fire, thank you so much for the donation. Appreciate you. Thank you all headed to the core. Call support pep call. We're just reading out maybe his personal stuff, but probably. Ted Cruz said it was okay. Yeah. Oh, Ted Cruz, that was crazy, right? Ted Cruz was like, we're gonna stop going after. I forgot the exact wording, but it sounded like stop attacking pedophiles. It's like, first of all, we ain't attacking them. We just don't want them to be around us. They want to be held accountable for what they did. He's like, let's not. Yeah, he spoke a little bit out of turn on that one, and I don't know. I'm not gonna call him one, but usually when you slip like that, you go back and you fix it. He let it hang. It's a gaffe, something. He just let it hang, just let it go. He didn't even recognize he had done it. So obviously, it must not be a big thing to him. All right. Now, those are the things that I believe that I have on Jeffrey Epstein. Now, there's a video I showed you guys. I showed a lot of people last year. I'm going to show it now. It's kind of long, but I need to show it because for some reason, I think people may not have seen it. It's just, I don't understand it. I made a video last year when I was telling everybody about Project 2025, raising the alarm, ringing the bell, saying, hey, everybody, listen to this, Project 2025. I put it a video. I told everybody about it. Every platform I have, I told people to share it, do whatever. And it still, to me, is amazing how the news doesn't run this shit 24/7. Every other day, they should be running this shit. Because everybody in Project 2025 is working for Donald Trump. It wasn't like they gradually came in. They've been working for Donald Trump since day one. He came in, all of Project 2025 was hired. He said he didn't know anything about Project 2025. Hey, Alice, I see it. And the reality is Donald Trump was a part of 2025 from the very, very beginning. And when you listen to this entire clip, you're going to hear how Russ Vought is, and I believe this is the full video. You're going to hear how Russ Vought literally says Donald Trump has been in this since the last day that since he was a president the previous time, and he had already lost. He didn't want to admit it. He told Russ Vought to come up with this for his next presidency. All on tape. I don't know why that shit wasn't played over and over again, but Fox didn't play it. I saw like small clips of it on Joy Reid. A few people played small clips of it. No, the entire thing should have been played over and over again. I don't know if it was a what do you call it, a copyright issue, but you should have brought on the people who did it. They did an undercover investigation. You should have just brought them on and asked them questions. No? Yeah, you should. You still should do that. I believe, let me see if I can get it. I think it's still in there. We'll see if it shows up. It's going to be a white screen at first, I believe.
Two undercover reporters posing as donors are about to meet one of the key architects of Project 2025, the radical plan for Trump's second term, in a hotel suite rigged with hidden cameras.
Nice to meet you. Would you like coffee or something?
I'd love
Russ
coffee,
Vogt.
yeah.
Great.
Meet Russ Vogt.
Russell Vogt, the former director of the Office of Management and Budget.
He's been called the most dangerous MAGA diehard you've never heard of.
I am opposed to the Department of Education because I think it's the Department of Critical Race Theory.
The Russ Vogt were comrades in arms.
Formerly a cabinet member and chief lieutenant in the first Trump admin,
I want to thank Russ for doing an incredible job.
he now runs a group called Center for Renewing America.
An organization that I helped turn into the Death Star that is accomplishing all the debates that you are reading about. I think you have to rehabilitate Christian nationalism. You have the largest deportation in history, block funding for Planned Parenthood. I want to be the person who crushes the deep state.
Vogt is one of the key authors of the blueprint for a second Trump administration.
Project 2025.
It's an ambitious 920-page blueprint.
Like eliminating the Department of Education.
The mass firings of civil servants.
Banning access to the abortion pill and further restricting abortion rights.
In recent weeks, the plans have become so controversial that Trump has been forced to distance himself.
They're sort of the opposite of the radical left, okay? You have the radical left and you have the radical right. And they come up with this, I don't know what the hell it is. It's Project 25.
Are you ready? I know nothing about Project 25.
Nice.
I haven't seen the document. I don't intend to really see the document.
But behind closed doors, Vogt tells us not to take Trump's disavowal seriously.
I expect you to hear 10 more times from the rally, the president, distancing himself from the left's boogeyman of Project 2025.
Yeah. And you're not worried about that?
I'm not worried about it.
Okay.
He's running against a brand. He is not running against any people.
Okay.
He is not running against any institutions. It's interesting. He's in fact not even opposing himself to a particular policy.
Yeah.
He's been at our organization. He's raised money for our organization. He's blessed it from the, I remember walking into our last day in office and told him what I was going to do. So he's very supportive of what we do.
That right there explained it. He knew exactly what their organization was doing. He wanted them to do it, very supportive of the plan because it was meant for Donald Trump and his next presidency. That right there told you Donald Trump was down since day one. And on top of that, that Russ Vogt knew that it was the strategy, which they were cool with, for him to distance himself. Now, why at this point in time were they trying to distance themselves from it? See, at the very beginning, they put this Project 2025 out to test what people would think, right? Again, they always put stuff out to see how people would think, and then they start to tailor it or tailor the message to make it seem like, oh, that's not what we really meant. And then that's exactly what they did. As soon as it came out, amongst Democrats, amongst Republicans, amongst most Americans, they did not like Project 2025. So the plan was to distance yourself from it, still implement it. It is the plan. Everybody who's working at this is getting hired, putting the process together. All this shit is already written out. All those executive orders this man wrote, had written them over the years. He worked for him over the first time. And because he lost Donald Trump, this man was able to implement something he's been wanting to do forever. You've been seeing these in this thing, this documentary, this short clip, you've been seeing this man talk about in these short clips about, and these are different years where he doesn't like, education and different things like that because, it's something where you teach critical race theory, Department of Education. Critical race theory is taught in colleges, has shit to do. And when I say colleges, I'm talking about law schools. It has shit to do with regular schools. Everything they mention is just hate. They hate any particular thing that isn't white, nationalist, and Christianity. With those things, white Christianity, white nationalist Christianity, it's different than traditional Christianity. Those are the only things that they like. They don't like, and men, they don't like white women. They don't like anybody else but white men. They believe that they have, these types of white men, they have been aggrieved somehow. And it's crazy how nobody's been running this country. For the most part, it's been all white men. And somehow do you feel aggrieved? Why? Because white men are enlightened to know that, hey, we're all pretty much the same. We're not superior because of our skin. Well, we don't like those white people. We only want white people who believe that no matter what, we're at the top. We're top of the food chain. We're the alphas, even though you're not. You're just in majority. That's it. Majority of people in this country. If you immigrated, and that's the problem they have, brown people were becoming like the majority in this country. And if it stayed going like it was, white people were going to become the minority. And people of color were going to become the majority. You start to see their fear now. You start to see why they're destroying the country and getting rid of all Latin people. They didn't care about criminals. They were trying to get rid of Latin people to kill their numbers. There are not enough Latin criminals in America to lower their numbers so that they can never catch up with white people. See, here's the thing. If you realize and did your homework, you would have found out that these racists have been thinking about it for well over 50 years, have been doing studies that cost millions of dollars, and found out that around 2050, white people are going to become the minority in this country. And what they're doing now is purging people of color so that you could never catch up to the majority of people in this country. Latin people, which I told this before, this is my first time saying it, you guys are the ones they wanted to attack more. Why? Because your numbers were growing. Latin people in this country are having more babies than most cultures, especially white. They're having like 1 or 2 babies. Latin people are having more. Your numbers have increased dramatically. They did these studies and they realized that by the time of 2050 or somewhere around there, 2054 or something like that, white people are going to be the minority. And not only Latin, black people, Asian people, other people of color were going to overtake the numbers totally. And if you got people of color all on the same plane, they're fearful that they'll become the minority and get treated like black people get treated. And none of us give 2 shits about treating anybody any different. We're just trying to give people opportunities and live life. That monarchy, that racist bullshit, it's all in their genes. Has shit to do with us. It's them. They're afraid that we're going to treat them, minorities going to treat them like they treat us. And we're like, dude, we're so far like beyond caveman. That's some caveman shit. We beyond that. You guys are in that caveman bubble. Me white, me do better. What the fuck is that? Me supreme. No, you're not supreme. You're a fucking idiot. Is what you are. That's what you are. Just be honest. But let's continue.
Our investigation into Project 2025 began 2 weeks before the meeting vote at a conference for religious nationalists in D.C.
The truth is, Christian nationalism is not a threat to American democracy. Christian nationalism founded American democracy.
Journalists from the Center for Climate Reporting have come posing as potential donors, looking to meet those involved in Project 2025. They're not hard to find. The Heritage Foundation, the group running the project, are here. So is Vote's think tank. We made the acquaintance of Mika Meadowcroft, an author on Project 2025 and a close aide to Vote. He tells us that Vote is running the secretive second phase of Project 2025.
The second phase after the book came out was to break down like actual sort of policy packets and executive orders and agenda items, things like that. That's been supervised largely.
The first phase of Project 2025 was a 922-page policy book published openly. The second phase is a comprehensive, concrete transition plan for each federal agency. These much more detailed plans are confidential.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry about the audio. That's the way it is. This video. So if you can turn your audio down, you can probably read the subtitles. But that's the part that I've never heard the news talk about. I've been yelling at the top of my fucking lungs about that aspect of it. They've been reading Project 2025. So did I. I talked about it over and over again. But I watched this and I told people, rang the bell over and over again. What you have is horrific. But what they have to actually implement this, that is what the Democrats need to subpoena. Their plans that get this particular 900 pages into order. These things are what they showed you were the summations of what they were going to do. It's a much larger dynamic in paperwork or paper trail and using apps that can be destroyed, like the one that Pete Hegseth used that disappears. They said, even you go here right here, that they have to use some other source so that it doesn't become foiable. Freedom of Information Act, so that they can no longer have freedom of information of what they have to give. They don't have to turn it over if it never goes through the government, like the track of the government. So if it's not recorded and it disappears, we don't have to show you anything, but you're doing the people's business on things that disappear. That right there should be against the government, period. And I'm sure it is in some way, shape, or form. And just because this MAGA said that, as you see, not foiable, what he's about to say in the subtitles, that right there to obfuscate, to run away from doing the business of the government and doing something political in that process, that right there should be against the Hatch Act. But they're literally trying their best to hide it. And they planned this. This is before he became a president. We knew about this shit. Why wasn't Democrats? Why weren't independents? Why weren't the news playing this shit over and over and over? And why aren't they doing it now? To show these people out to be liars from the very jump. That part bugs me. Because, like I said, screaming it from the top of my fucking lungs, and no news organization carried this like this. And I've been saying it over and over again. And what's happened? Everything in that book, Project 2025, is happening. We all knew about it, but they didn't know. And I haven't heard any other reporters know that there was an additional book, comprehensive, more in depth than 900 pages, that went over everything that Donald Trump is doing. Donald Trump's too stupid to do this shit. That's why he's got these people doing what he wants them to do. They orchestrated this whole process. He was the one who just ordered it. The outcome is what he wants, a dictatorship. Destroy American democracy. And they're fine with it. This Mika Metacroft helped write a piece of the Project 2025. And right now he's explaining how they're trying to go around the laws of having to not expose, but to give Americans the freedom to be able to understand what the government is doing. And do you understand what this is? Once he finishes explaining it, what he's explaining to you guys is creating a deep state. There wasn't one before. Donald Trump and his minions are creating one. And that's what this is, a deep state. You can't see it. It's inside the government and it's not foiable, which means they don't have to expose to Americans how they're fucking our country up because they're not putting it down on paper. They're putting it on apps that have shit disappear. Again, that's how Pete Hegseth got caught with all the documentation. Had that reporter not took photographs of it, we wouldn't have known because it disappeared. This type of information should have been on government computers so that they knew exactly what Pete Hegseth said, but they didn't because he did that app. It's crazy. These people are traitors to America, and these MAGA people are acting like these people are patriots.
Because obviously you wanted a little bit to be foiable. You're familiar with the FOIA process as possible. Freedom of Information Act, yeah.
The Freedom of Information Act allows the public to request government communications. But Metacroft reveals they plan to avoid these rules.
Yeah, the goal is, just familiarize all the transition team people with these plans, but you don't actually send them to their work emails. Right. You could just give handbooks to everyone. Be like, this is the game plan for the admin. Yeah. If the press knows that that's what they're doing, that they're going to immediately just say, like, I request all of your emails from Heritage. Okay.
Look how smug he is, talking about if he did get caught with it and put it through the email, they would say, we need all your emails and we can get it and make it foilable about what you did by your group sending information, telling people to do stuff via email. So there would be a paper trail as to the shit you're doing. Now, who doesn't like paper trails? That's Donald Trump. He doesn't go through emails. Donald Trump knew about this shit from day one, yo. This is not something that he did not know about. He knew 100% about what he was doing and was lying to the American people. Lying to MAGA, because MAGA didn't like it. The ones who are Republicans and MAGA that are just not a part of his organization, so to speak, they were against this, and they were like, no, he's not doing that. He's doing Project 47, and look at his website. It has these bullet points. And it's like, you telling me that this shit right here, 900-some pages, Russ Vogt, if you see this documentary, literally is saying Donald Trump ordered this shit up through him on the days before he left office when he didn't want to admit he lost. And then he gets hired. He didn't think of nobody else. As soon as he got the presidency, Russ Vogt was the only person that he decided to put on top of everything. The guy who orchestrated everything. The guy who was caught. You understand that this video that you're seeing is Russ Vogt trying to get millions of dollars. He thinks these two people he's talking to are millionaires that want to invest. Like I said before, what you see here is the same shit they probably brought to Elon Musk, the same shit they brought to Tim, I forgot his last name, the head of Apple, the same shit they brought to the head of Facebook, the same shit they brought to all the other billionaires. You think these are these millionaires that they think are millionaires, they don't know them, but they're trying to get them to invest money so that they can continue doing Project 2025 and implementing it and giving them some kind of back-end opportunities because of the money they're giving up? You think these are the only people they did it for? No, these are the people who caught them, who got into the loop to realize that, hey, they're doing this to all the billionaires. You just didn't catch the head of Facebook, the head of Apple, the head of TikTok in America, or even the guy who wasn't here at TikTok. You didn't get any of this. I mean, the other guy from not China, but from the other country. We don't know who did this. Bill Gates could have been there. Every rich person was tapped into. These people they thought were rich people, billionaires, that they were pitching to. So just think about it when Donald Trump had those billionaires sitting behind him at inauguration instead of the governors who should have been there. The people who had been paying him to become president because they promised them something with this new Project 2025 being in place. This is what happens when stupid people vote. They put America in fucking turmoil. It's insane. It was out there, and they chose not to read. They didn't even have to read. They could have just turned this bitch on and realized it.
We'll see.
That'll got off office to set up a meeting with his boss, Russ Vogt.
You could put me in touch with somebody who looks after his diary or whatever.
Yes, I can put you in touch with his schedule. Yeah.
Amazing.
So, yeah.
Great.
So just tell me when to do that.
We want to meet the man writing the game plan for Trump's second administration. Vogt believes that in his first term, Trump's agenda was frustrated by what he calls the deep state. So Vogt is planning a radical centralization of government power under the president, firing civil servants and ending the independence of agencies like the FBI and DOJ.
80% of my time is working on the plans of what's necessary to take control of these bureaucracies. And we are working doggedly on that, whether it's destroying their agency's notion of independence. They're independent from the president.
Vote has also been preparing documents based on fringe legal theories.
This man said he wants the FBI to no longer be independent, that the president can just tell them what to do and they go do it. That's not in our Constitution. That would be a deep state destroying American democracy. That's what he wanted to do, destroy the American democracy. Why? We've been going around the world destroying and bombing people for centuries, trying to make people democracies. And now what happened to these white men that they want to destroy our fucking country? Talking about they're making it stronger when they're making us weaker. What do they see that we don't? I don't understand how you destroy a democracy and somehow you're going to be a stronger country. When every country looks up to us, now that we're falling apart, that just makes us vulnerable. That does not make us strong. How the fuck is that? They're watching us like eat ourselves. And it's like, what the fuck is wrong with them? They keep chasing their own tail and trying to destroy themselves. What's going on with America? We've allowed the weakest of us to become powerful. And this is what happens when you're a dumbass and you're in power. You try to make everything cater to you, not realizing this country is filled with people and not everybody wants to be you or like you. And when the world is moving upward, you guys want to go back. They're onward and upward, and you're trying to go back and down. How do you stay on top? You alienate everybody around you. At some point in time, they say fuck off. And they are headed strong, fast toward fuck off town. The whole country is like laughing at us, and they're saying fuck off to America. Don't believe me. What do you think happens to the farmers right now? We talk about this often, but we don't necessarily always talk about the statistics. Donald Trump and MAGA minion idiots, they threw all these tariffs on China. China decided to work with Japan. They decided to work with Korea. They decided to work with Russia. They decided to work with the country that we're going to be giving. Let me see where I got my notes. The country that we're giving like $20 billion to. Let me see what that country, I wrote it down, I believe. Argentina. We're giving Argentina $20 billion to help them win an election. This one guy. Because he is like MAGA. He was the one who gave Elon Musk that like was it bedazzled like chainsaw? And because he's like cool with him, these dumbass people like Donald Trump are giving them $20 billion to try and win an election. We're paying for them to win an election in their own country. Do you understand? This is what's so effed up. America, if you don't know this, I'm about to tell you. China bought 50% of our soybean products. I don't think you quite understand what I just said there. 50% of our soybean. Do you know how huge soybeans are in this country? And when you talk about 50% of it, 50% of what America sells in soybeans to China alone. That means for the rest of the world who wants our soybeans, they got to split up 50. Okay, you get it. So 50% of our soybeans were sold to China every year. It was a constant. They could rely on it. They made their money off of it. Do you know how much, because of these tariffs, how many soybeans they're buying from the United States right now? That would be a goose egg. 0. China said, fuck off. And guess what country is taking over for the soybeans? That 50%. That would be Argentina. So Argentina got our deal with China. And when Trump them tried to go back to China and try to say, let's work a deal, all this shit like that, China said, fuck off. We already getting it from Argentina. So now Donald Trump and his minions recently said, we got to give subsidies and shit like that, welfare to the farmers. Like, why are we giving them welfare? Well, that's because we fucked up the economy like we did before when we put on tariffs, and we had to give a bailout to the farmers, gave them welfare. Now the farmers have to get welfare again because their plan never fucking works. Their tariff plan never works. Now, here's the thing. If it's never working for what it's intended to work for, you got to look for why they're doing it. Why would you fuck up a country on purpose? It has to be money going into their pockets. Because if it's not helping us, it's got to be helping somebody. Because with them basically killing all of this farm, soybean crops, they're going broke, and we're going to have to put money into them. For what? China's not coming back. Argentina has that deal. The other terror situation, now China, Korea, and Russia. Was it China? No, it's China, Korea, and what else is it? It's another Asian country. Japan. China, Korea, and Japan. Those three got a deal on other things that we sell. And they no longer have to worry about it. They don't work their deal out. They don't have to come back to America ever again for that one. And I can't remember what crop that is. They're not coming back. China's not coming back. 50% of the farmers that sell their 50% of the farmers who do soybeans in this country, that's gone for good. Who else wants it? Nobody as of yet. That's why they're going broke. And seeing as how they're not coming back and they already got their crops, the farmers' crops are going to die. And they're going to have no money. And do you think the government's going to give them exactly what China would have gave them? No. They're just going to give them just enough to get by. Again, voting against your best interest. It's just insane. Hate is so strong in your heart that you're willing to destroy your own lives just so you can see other people in pain. But you can't even witness them in pain when you're in pain. All right. Anyway.
Arguing the president has the power to use the military against protesters.
George Floyd obviously was not about race. It was about destabilizing the Trump administration.
Right. George Floyd was about the Trump administration, destabilizing the Trump administration. George Floyd was about a white racist cop killing a black man for no fucking reason. The fuck is he talking about? So you trying to tell me this black guy pulled up to a store where he got a $20 bill that was supposedly fake from somewhere, but then goes and spends pieces of it, and he pre-planned this because I'm gonna fuck with Trump, destabilizing Trump. So then he's sitting out in the car with his friend or whatever, goes inside, buys something, comes out. A little kid says, oh, that's a fake $20 bill. The owner of the place, I believe he was an Indian, Pakistani or something like that. Not Pakistan, but he was Indian, not from India, like type of situation, but owned the store. And then he calls the cops. The cops show up while he's in the car. George Floyd is in the car, ask him to get out. Like, for what? What did I do? And then they rough him up, arrest him, put him to the side, all over a fake $20 bill. And then say that he's on some type of drug, and then said he died by the drug itself and not by the cop with his knee on his neck while the dude was asking for his mama as a grown fucking man. He was on his way to meet his mother in heaven. He probably was seeing her as he was saying mama, because he was dying as this man was taking the air from his breath, from his lungs. And after he was dead, was still on him. That was because they wanted to destabilize Trump. I mean, the racism and the idiocy is too fucking thick here. I don't think George Floyd thought a fuck about Donald Trump while he was in that fucking car. And nor did anybody in protest was thinking about the dipshit orange fuckhead in office. They were thinking about, what are you going to do with these racists out here killing black people for no fucking reason? Over a fake $20 bill, a man had to die? And if you went deeper, you would have found out, if you ever worked in a bank, that store should have never called the police. That's why George Floyd's family secretly sued that store and got a huge settlement, because the owner of that store was the only person in this scenario that broke the law. How'd he break the law? The owner of that store broke the law by calling the cops about a $20 bill, not just because of that. It was what he was doing. See, as a business owner, as I am myself, and knowing the banking system, if you have a brick and mortar which you're dealing with cash and stuff like that, you bring to the bank every day fake money. And what do? They pay you for them. The government pays you for the fake money. They exchange real for fake. You get the fake money off the street, they'll give you a real $20, $50, $100 bill. That's how banks work and have worked for fucking ever. The owner of that store knew that. But see, that owner was breaking the law by doing what? He was making these kids, whenever they received a fake $20, $50, or $100, he would make them pay for it out of their check. So if they found a $20 bill, a $120 bill, $100 bill, and by the end of the week or whatever, or 2 weeks they get paid, they could have $100, $250 worth of fake bills that passed their way. And he would dock their paycheck $100 or $200 and put it in his own fucking pocket and acting like it went to the store. But when he went to the store, he got that $150 or $200 put back into his account, and he was walking around with these kids' money in his pocket. He is the one that broke the law. Yet though he's alive to continue to break the law. And none of these people, whether it be news, whether it be Candace Owens and the Hodge twins and all these other fuckers that was out here talking shit about George Floyd wasn't the cleanest person, wasn't this, wasn't that, drug dealer, but whatever. Did not call out once the owner of the store for robbing children of their hard-earned money when he know damn well he got that money back from the bank when he took it to the bank. That was the only person who broke the law while you were seeing that entire shit go down. So George Floyd's death is on, that blood is on that owner's, the store owner. The audacity of this person to call the cops when he knew he's going to get that $20 back. His dislike or hate or whatever it was toward that black man, whom more than likely every person in here, I know I have gone to the bank or, back in the day when things were going bad for me, check cashing place. I went to a check cashing place. They gave me $100 bill that was fake. I went to the bank to put it into an account there because I had a personal account and a business account, and I had to put cash into the business account. I couldn't do it with my checking account, my personal account. So I got it into cash, put it into my business, I put it into my business and it was like, this is a fake $100 bill. I'm like, well, that's fucked up. I said, you sure about that? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, give me all my money. And I went back to the place and I said, look, you gave me a fake $100 bill. Found out from B of A. I said, really? I don't think so. We don't do that. I'm like, you did. I recorded it and everything. Here's the bank. This is what she said. Give me my fucking $100 bill. Now, here's the thing. Had I went to a grocery store and they said, oh, you passed a fake $100 bill, should I have died for that when it wasn't even my fault that I got the fake $100 bill? I don't deal with counterfeit money. Exactly. So this man died for some money he probably got from a check cashing place or somewhere else where it was fake, and he thought it was real just like anybody else. He didn't break any laws. And this man wants to tell you, oh, it was about Donald Trump and trying to destabilize this, that, and the third. No, it was about a black man being harmed. How the hell you make it about your white ass when there's a black man that died and he didn't die thinking about none of you motherfuckers? It's fucking ridiculous.
We put out, for instance, a 50-page paper designed for lawyers to know that the president has, the ability both along the border and elsewhere to maintain law and order with the military, and that's something that it's going to be important for him to remember and his lawyers to affirm. But we've given them the case for that.
With loyalists installed in key government agencies and armed with his playbook, Vogt believes a radical Christian nationalist agenda can be realized under a second Trump presidency. For example, on abortion.
So I think the president's actually come up with a strategy that works so long as you are giving people like me in the government the ability to block funding for Planned Parenthood, block funding for fetal tissue research. What I've told people is he had the most pro-life record ever. I've never seen him to stand in the way of a pro-life initiative that actually was real, politically and with momentum.
And for Vogt, Trump's pick for vice president shows he's serious about pushing this ideological agenda when in power.
So I am very happy with the JD pick. I think it's transformative for sure. And he's, think of him as a member version of what we do. So there's no think tank, no policy organization, no battle plan creator other than us for the worldview that I think Donald Trump has and that JD has.
But as public backlash against these plans builds, the Trump campaign has been scrambling to distance themselves from Project 2025's authors.
It's complete and utter bullshit for any reporter to write that this is the way it is. The president's made it clear these people do not speak for him. They do not speak for the campaign.
But Vogt tells us that behind the scenes, things are much friendlier. The Trump campaign recently picked him to write the Republicans' policy platform, making him essentially Project 2025's man on the inside.
I think the best example is the campaign selected me to be the platform because of their views on my policy ideas, and they're not running from all of the negativity that I get from the press.
I see. So they haven't been spooked on you as a person, you don't think?
No, I mean, I don't think I'm going to be their transition pick because then they have all these kinds of stories. But no, the relationship is great.
The head of the Trump transition team has not yet been appointed. But Vogt says that no matter who is named, he'll be able to hand over his Project 2025 battle plans directly.
If it's someone like Stephen Miller or Bob Lighthizer, then all this stuff gets plugged right in. If it's not, we'll figure it out.
Okay.
But all of it will be designed for a theory of the case that President, if a battle plan is out there that will do what he wants, there are people like me that have his trust that we'll be able to get it to him in whatever position we're at, or I could be at Center for New America, but the relationships will be there. The trust level will be there.
Project 2025's Radical Phase 1 policy book turned into a PR disaster.
The director of Project 2025 has stepped down after facing criticism from both Democrats and the Trump campaign.
But Vogt's Phase 2 battle plans, top secret and handed directly to the transition team, remain unburdened by the brand.
And are you going to rebrand that second phase at all?
For what I do? The brand's not important.
And you're not worried that if it has Project 2025 on, he's going to go like,
No.
And you're not going to publish those?
No.
They go straight to.
Yeah, they're very, very close hold.
Okay.
Brilliant. It's been an education.
Appreciate it. Thank you for coming.
Thank you so much.
Anytime.
Ladies and gentlemen, that right there, what he described is the deep state. A faux government working behind the scenes, controlling everything while what we see is not really going on. Even if we see all these things that they're the craziness that's going on, just understand behind the scenes it's worse than that. Like I said, this man has written the entire script for this. He's been working on this for a very long time, and Donald Trump has been a donator and a part of the Heritage Foundation organization for a long time. We were screaming this at the top of our lungs last year, me and others. And it sucks to be right, because had people just listened, we wouldn't be here. We would have Kamala Harris as the president, and farmers would be doing well. The economy would be booming. And instead, we have the deep state led by the orange dipshit. We've got military men and women on our streets, y'all. Not just walking around with weapons on the ready. I told you guys, if you haven't seen before, I went on a cruise when my kids were younger. It was many years ago. And it wasn't that far. It's the first cruise I ever did, so I was kind of like, I ain't gonna go too far because I might get seasick or something. I don't want to go too far. So I'm in California, so we went to Mexico. I believe like Ensenada or something like that. Just touring. We didn't stay like overnight or nothing like that. We stayed on the ship. And so when I got there, as soon as I got off, I didn't know what to expect. I'd never been to Mexico before. And I got there, and right before you get off the ship, cruise ship, they tell you certain people are there to inform you about, Mexico, where we're at. And they would say like, okay, here's some things you should not do. One was a shocker to me. One of the first things they told me was, don't buy any chiclets. If you don't know what chiclets is, a little bitty pieces of candy, like look like gum. They're pieces of gum. Don't buy any chiclets from kids, because those kids should be in school and they're getting money for criminals, and therefore the money that they're getting is keeping these kids on the street, and it's illegal for them to be on the street. So you're funding a child, either sex ring or something. So don't do it, no matter how cute the kid is. And we had some come up to us. I was like, nah, get away from me. You need help, type of thing. And then they said, don't go down certain streets. They gave us a few names of the side streets. They said, you just stay right on this main path. You can go to the other side of the street and bring yourself back on that other same path, or stay on the same path, doesn't matter. But don't go anywhere on the side streets, just the main street, and don't go past this particular street. So we walked down there and have fun and, hanging with, we had one person that was babysitting the kids that stayed on the ship. And so the grown-ups was out having a good time. And I tell you this story because I remember going down the street, and these people in Mexico, the Mexicans, they were going back and forth, and they had other people who were tourists. And us people who were new there, you could tell that we were new to this part of Mexico, a Mexico period maybe, is that the military people roam the streets like regular. I had never seen it. I'm from Indiana. I've been living in California for a while. We've seen people going in convoys back and forth, moving these big trucks and cars and shit, and that is nothing. It's just them transporting. But you didn't see men manned with weapons on the ready as if they about to shoot one of the citizens. That shit threw me off when I saw it. I was like, and then we had like a person who was like a guide that kind of like told us different things. So I asked the guide, I'm like, is this normal? Or is this like some kind of practice going on right now for y'all military? And the person was like, what do you mean? I'm like, that guy's on, I mean, that man is machine gun ready. He's like sitting there like this on the back of a Jeep with his hands on it and swaying back and forth. Why would he need that? I tell you, I didn't feel safe. I felt like there must be crime around this area at all times. I don't get this, right? And she was just like, that's just the way it is. And I was like, don't like it here. And here it is. I saw today a tank rolling down the street in one of these cities that Donald Trump brought, and men hanging outside the tank with weapons pointed at American citizens in military gear, camouflage. I don't know about you Americans, no matter who you are. I'm not talking about Democrat, independent. I'm talking about Americans right now. Why would you want this in our country? It makes it feel like a third world country where a war could start at any moment. There are no American citizens with tanks trying to go tit for tat with or toe to toe with the government. So why would people who are Republicans want manned guns, military? I thought you guys were against the military taking over. That's why you guys buy so many guns. Because you don't want the military to take over, so you can fight the military if they start acting the way Donald Trump has them acting. It's not a Democratic president or Democrat president that is putting military weapons and military on the streets and knocking down doors of people's homes. It's just shocking to me that even a Republican would be like, okay, that's cool. How? If that can happen in LA, Portland, and Chicago, do you understand you open the doors for it to happen in Indiana, Ohio, Texas? What's to stop these MAGA people from doing it to every state? You think they're going to say, well, I ain't going to step into a red state and do it because we love the red state, until you don't support them no more. What happens when they start doing stuff that you don't agree with? You become a part of the enemy. What happens? They tell you your wife can't work anymore and you got to live off of your salary, your husband's salary. She can't have a job no more. She's got to stay at home because they don't respect women. Your quality of life goes down. You're not going to like it. But what you going to do about it? You complain and they send the military to your home. You can't foresee this shit happening to you. You only see it for happening to people of color or gay and lesbian. That's the only thing trans, that's what you see it going toward. And so you're okay with it? Don't you see the farmers going through shit because they thought that it was only going to harm people of color, not realizing that their employees are people of color? I mean, how do you so poorly plan that the people that keep your business afloat are mostly brown people, Latin people, and then you allow the government, you vote? I say, yes, I want to vote for the man that says he's going to take your employees away. That means closing down your business or you having to do the work of about 150 people. It gets tiring trying to like argue common sense into people. You know what I mean? You just want to deal with good people and transcend people's lives. You get sick and tired of trying to get stupid people to wake up and say, I'm tired of being stupid. But that's where they're comfortable. That's their comfort zone. Being a dumbass is everything to them. They've gotten this far. Why work? It's like talking to a hole. All you get back is an echo. None of it sticks. Doesn't stay in their brain. In one ear, out the other. Donald Trump lied about him not knowing about Project 2025 when Russ Vought just said Donald Trump knew about it and supported it and wanted it to happen. He ordered it to be happening the way it's happening before he left the White House after he recognized he had lost. It's been a plan for years. And Russ Vought's been planning it way before then. Russ Vought worked for Donald Trump before in the first presidency. Last time we had a shutdown, Donald Trump was president, or at least that time he was president. I believe he was shut down for like 30 something days, 35, 36 days. We didn't fire any employees. You know why? Because we had people in the office whom many of us did not like as far as Democrats go, but they were the glue holding this country together, even though we didn't like them as the Republicans they were. They were the ones holding this country together. So much so when they left, they're the ones that said Donald Trump was a traitor to America and that he was a dictator in training. All the while they're trying to hold the country together and not responding to Donald Trump's dictator desires. Telling him he couldn't do something. And now they've elected a man that doesn't listen to anybody except for like Russ Vought and all them, because those are the ones that are organizing everything. And all he has to do is ask for something to be done, and it just shall be done, as if he's some kind of king. Americans who are Republicans and MAGAs are the reason behind this. And make no mistake about it, you Americans who chose not to vote and would have voted for Kamala Harris had you not had your foot in your fucking, all the way up to your ankle, down your fucking throat, or better yet, in your ass, to be honest about it. Had you not played stupid, we wouldn't be in this situation. We didn't even need any Republicans to vote for Kamala Harris. We just needed Americans who weren't Republicans, who may not have voted before in their life or rarely ever vote. We needed you to get your foot out your ass and actually save the country in which you say, it don't do nothing for me. Guess what it's doing for you now? Hopefully, the next election and elections from here on out, you realize how important your vote is. Educate yourself on whatever the person's saying to you. Make sure you don't take their word for it, Democrat or independent or Republican. Don't take their word for it. Listen to it. Go do your research and find out which one told you the truth, which one lied to you, and hopefully you choose the one that tells you the fucking truth this time. Jesus. Just don't know what's up with these people. Last thing I want to talk about is the jobs report was supposed to come out. Didn't come out because we do have our government shutdown, and I know Republicans are happy about that, especially MAGA. But we had ADP come out, and I think they independently for them, there's there's thousands of companies actually that pitch in for this. So this is just a small portion of it, just one business out of many. But they lost 35,000 jobs. I think it was 32 or something like that. Plus the previous month was updated, and I think it was like 3,000. So it's like 36,000 jobs under. Lost jobs. Didn't even have more jobs. Didn't have 10,000, didn't have 22,000. It's to a point of that particular company down 35,000 jobs. Donald Trump. Oh, I got a video of did I see Fox? Let me see if I got Fox here. Fox had a I got it. Come on, man. Fox had a interview. I forgot what she is. She's some kind of secretary of something. I want to say within the government, but we'll see it here in just a second. Just listen to what she says, and we're gonna break that down, and then we'll get out of here. And you guys have a great weekend. Let me see if I got it. Do I have it? Yeah. Let's go.
We're seeing consumer confidence up. We're seeing businesses want to reinvest in their workforce. And this is only, a real screeching halt for the American people. And it's unfortunate that the Democrats don't see that they're fighting for the American people and they're going to pay.
Well, I mean, you know the data, though. You know where we are. I mean, we've had 3 months of slowing jobs. We know we don't have the numbers for September, but is there anything you could tell us about the jobs picture today?
Yeah, what we're seeing is the investment. We're seeing.
Now, let's listen to this very first part. She said, at the end, she goes, what we're seeing is the investment. We're not seeing them invest. Here's the thing, what she's doing here, this lady.
Consumer confidence up. We're seeing businesses want to reinvest in their workforce.
We're seeing businesses want to reinvest in their workforce. No, she asked you, why aren't they? You're telling us what they want to do. If the economy was doing well, they would do it. See, here's the thing. The jobs numbers don't have anything to do whether they want to invest in something. They will invest when the economy does well. You guys have destroyed the fucking economy, so they want to invest, but they're not investing. Bartiromo's question is, why aren't they investing? Why aren't they creating new jobs? And then she said we're seeing the investments at the end. They're not asking to invest. If they were, again, here's the problem with and this lady here, Bartiromo, I don't like her, but she's smart enough to know that what this lady's saying is bullshit and call her out on it. When you say that investors want to invest, but what's holding them back? The economy, right? And why is the economy bad? The tariffs and Donald Trump, the way he's running it, right? Oh, so if Donald Trump let go of these tariffs and stop acting a fool and it kept our economy going up, right now, gas prices and eggs and all these other things that have went up, some of these things dramatically, some of them kind of staying the same as it was before, but none of them going down significantly, what everybody needed. The reason is because he came in and did the same bullshit that caused our economy to fall the last time. Obama left this country with an incline. I don't know how many months. It was something crazy, like fucking 80-something months or something of just increases. Donald Trump came in, and that little taper off of what Obama did, stuck it out for a while, kept going up. And you can see Obama's was going up like this. This just took off from here and continued just going the same speed. Donald Trump didn't incorporate anything. Once he incorporated the tax cuts, it looked like it was still going up a little bit. Then that shit, boom, started going down. We got COVID. He didn't manage that worth a damn. 1 million people died. Economy went to shit. He blames COVID, but COVID was his fault, not the actual reason why we got COVID, but his management of COVID was his fault. He chose to tell people, don't wear masks, just die. That was a plan. Oh, and put light into your skin and it can heal, and hand sanitizer, because it heals in like, it dies in like a minute. That was his big plan. Shit that wasn't even possible. This man bankrupted 6 fucking casinos, and they think he was a good businessman. When we find out now, Donald Trump doesn't have money because he's a good businessman. It's because he bribed people just like Jeffrey Epstein. The same people as Jeffrey Epstein, and he probably was making money off of what Jeffrey Epstein was doing. He paid 2 co-conspirators, one 150, another 250,000. Donald Trump wrote him a letter for his birthday saying that we're both enigmas and that we both love wonderful secrets. That sounded like a confession to me that me and you are one and the same. And if he's a fucking pedophile that's rich, that's bribing people, what the fuck you think Donald Trump was? How can they be one and the same? What do we know about Jeffrey Epstein that's a good thing? We haven't heard one yet. So what about Donald Trump and him are one and the same, the way Donald Trump makes his letter out to be, that he says he didn't write, he didn't sign? Please, the jobs report, I want you to know one thing about this. If we know Donald Trump to be this person that brags about everything he does, he thinks everything he does is great. Even when he fucks up, I was just so good, I was #1, I was so big. All that, right? Those numbers for September are available. It's just that nobody's working right now to give them to you. Now think about this for a second. Nobody's in the office right now, but didn't Russ Vought and his little minions with Donald Trump take over the emails of government employees while they're not working? And took those documents and sent out emails blaming this shutdown on the Democrats. First of all, that's the Hatch Act. You weren't supposed to be doing political information or political work in a government position. But they don't care about laws. Go figure. That's the Republican Party for you. Lie about everything, tell the truth about nothing. And so they sent out this information to all these people using these people's emails. So somebody's working. Now ask yourself this question because of who Donald Trump is. Ask yourself this question. If the jobs numbers were excellent, were really good, something to brag about, something that was better than Biden, better than Obama, do you really think the closing of the government would stop them from putting that information out? No, he wants to be congratulated for everything he does. So even with the government closed, they got access to those numbers. And if they were good, Donald Trump would have tweeted them out, would have truthed them out, because he wants everything good in his name to be out there. Even when it's bad, he lies about it and make it good for him. He said nothing today. He released no information. He hid behind the government being closed down, and we just aren't going to see the numbers. Donald Trump has saw those numbers. So has the people who work there. And they know Donald Trump, that the economy's worse, that we're losing jobs, not gaining. We don't know the impact of how big we're losing, but we're losing. Because if we weren't, and he had good news to share, he would have shared it. Because he can't pass up getting, praise for anything he does good. So just know the numbers were bad. Now, we don't know how bad they're going to be, and hopefully we'll see them in the near future, but trust me, they're going to try and keep this thing closed down because their entire plan was to close down the government and give Donald Trump, the president, all the power and get rid of the FBI, the CIA, the DOJ, and just have Donald Trump, the president, run it all. That's what Russ Vought said in this video. Why it hasn't been promoted all over the freaking world over and over again on the news, don't ask me. I just did. All right, ladies and gentlemen, you got to go. Take care, Woke Mike. I was going to go to fuck your feelings, but you gone, man. It's all good. But I appreciate you guys for being here. I appreciate you doing all the hard work, being out here supporting, getting these knuckleheads to know the truth and not believe in the lies, and hopefully send out these prayers for positive stuff, and even people in the room. I know you guys talk back and forth to one another. If you have any issues going on, we're praying for either your health or your financial situation or whatever it may be. So I look forward to seeing y'all next week around the same time, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, getting closer to that. Continue working on Avid Solutionist. I'm working on a YouTube channel right now, building that out. And the TikTok is available. Go follow that right now. Some of you guys have been doing it. I appreciate you. As we get that up to 1,000, then I'll be able to go live too. You check when you have time. Most definitely, 5 on Fire. Appreciate it. Thank you for the donation. I hope you feel better, brother. I appreciate you reaching out to me, and I know you're going through a lot of certain pain that's going on. So prayers lifted up for that, for healing. So I'll see you guys. You guys have a great weekend. I'll see you next week. Y'all be safe. Much love to you. Thank you for my supporters, my moderators. Love y'all. I can't do it without you. All right, I'll see you guys when I see you. Oh, I got to do my fuck you, straight facts. All right. I do this because I hate people lying to me. That's why I speak facts, straight facts, no chaser. Fuck your feelings.